On this episode of the Carolina Sports Guy, we're going to kind of do a small recap on the series that the Hurricanes just had with the Nashville Predators. Pretty good games. Hey, like I said in an earlier video, Nashville could be a rival. Going to kind of get into a little bit about this series between these two teams, these two southern markets, and just kind of looking ahead to what's going to happen next. YouTube friends and family, Carolina Sports Guy here. If you haven't done it already, I'd like you to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. It just takes you a second to do it. Pound that like button. Let me know you like videos like this. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you liked about the video, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see in further content. And hit that bell notification so you'll be let know when we're going to do some more videos such as the one we're going to do today. Alright, Canes fans. Uncle Chucky here wants to kind of briefly just talk about the series we just had with the Nashville Predators. Nashville put up a better fight than I thought they would. Now, I knew Nashville was dangerous. They've had a really good squad when they were in the Western Conference. You know, they made that Final Four. I was rooting for them when they lost to Pittsburgh, 3, 4, 5 years ago, whatever it was. And really good hockey fans in Nashville. That's a really good market for hockey. I do feel we have a better team and we won. I know the Nashville fans are a little edgy, a little chippy, and it's to be expected when you got a team that has a grit and toughness that they do. Man, they can really hang with anybody. But in saying that, we're going to look at this series that lasted six games. You know, the first two games, I kind of felt like, no, I didn't think we were necessarily going to sweep, but I thought it was going to be like a 5-game series. I knew it was going to be tougher going to Nashville. The first game, Carolina came out swinging. We won 5-2. We played our game. Nashville was overmatched. And I really kind of felt like, okay, if we can take another one home, we're well on our way. We're doing well. Now, the second game, and don't let the score deceive you. It was a 3-0 win in Raleigh for the Hurricanes. But if you can go back and remember, it was 2 minutes left in the game. It was 1-0. A couple of shots Nashville had. It could have easily been tied. It could have been another overtime game. Nonetheless, you know, Nashville pulls their goalie. Aho scores a goal with less than 2 minutes remaining, and then we come right back when they put the goalie in, and we ended up, I think Nashville was really tired, kind of let down and defeated a little bit, and we ended up scoring a third goal. I think it's Fogle that got the third goal, and we win 3-0. But remember, 2 minutes to go, it was a 1-0 game. We get to game 3, and this is where I knew it was going to be tough. And once they got to overtime, in the first overtime, I was just praying, man, let us get a win. Because I knew if we went up 3-0, it was going to be very, very difficult for Nashville to win the series. And as we go into overtime, man, it was, you know, I was on the edge of my seat. There's nothing like pro hockey playoff atmosphere. There's nothing in the world that compares to it. And look, you're listening, talking to a guy here that grew up on ACC basketball in the NCAA tournament. There's something about playoff hockey that's really special. But as we go into the first overtime, it ends. We go to the second overtime. The thing that stinks real bad, guys, is I had to go into the bathroom real quick. And I come back, and the minute I walk back in the room, bam. It's just about a minute left to go or 2 minutes left to go, and I go to the bathroom in the second overtime. And as I'm walking back in the room, and I'm seeing the puck chase, and here goes Nashville, and they score a goal with 6 seconds left in the second overtime. I was so defeated because I'm like, man, if Ned can block that shot, you know, get some type of a block, the game's going to a third overtime. And the guys are tired, but you're just kind of hoping to hang on and win that game. So Nashville, with their fans and their home support, they get a Game 3 win, and I knew we were in for a battle. In Game 4, this was the game I was really praying for. I'm like, I don't want to be 2-2. Anything can happen. When the series goes 2-2, you're knocking yourself into a best-of-3. You're getting the team coming back, and they're getting confidence. And I saw that in Nashville. Sure enough, Game 4 goes to double overtime. Again, Nashville wins. Now, Carolina did a good job. I believe Pesci's the one that got the goal that sent us to overtime. Once we get to overtime, it goes into a second overtime. Not as deep as Game 3, but still Game 4, man. Yossi Soros, that goalie, man, stood on his head, and Ned did everything he could do. I kind of thought he let in a goal or two that he could have stopped. Really, man, our defense and goaltending early on in periods, especially beginning of games, it's kind of been lackluster, and that really needs to change because it could be the difference between victory or defeat in these series. But needless to say, Nashville wins Game 4, 4-3, double overtime. Had a cookout that day, kind of messed my cookout up. But whatever. All I could think of was Game 5 Tuesday night in Raleigh. We've got to win this game. Sure enough, Nashville comes out swinging, man. Carolina's got to fight back. Marty Necas, man, what a goal. Turned on his afterburners, gets a puck off the skate of Soros, and we go into overtime. In the overtime, Jordan Stahl, the captain, gets a goal. Big win. You can see the excitement. The Caniacs go wild. It's a 3-2 victory in Game 5, and this is when I kind of felt like we got this series. We've got this series. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. It might be 7 games, but I just didn't feel Nashville could win these last 2 games. Of course, we go back to Nashville Game 6, and, Nashville starts out strong again, man. Carolina's pushing to come back. Once again, we fight to get it to an overtime. And here we go, tied at 3-3, getting into overtime. 4 games in a row overtime, 2 of them double overtime. I know the guys are exhausted. Both teams played well. And, man, Slavin came up big. Came up big the whole game. And I thought it was his goal, but Aho got the deflection off the stick, changed the projection of the puck, went by Soros, 4-3 overtime victory. Now, series being over at 4-2, which I was thankful for, being that Tampa Bay had ended their series with Florida the night before, I want to say this to the Nashville fans. A little chippiness, a little angriness. I know the franchises went back and forth. Nashville's got a lot to be proud of. They got awesome hockey fans, a great hockey market. Predators have a very gritty team, good coaching. I mean, the coach really, John Hines, came up with a masterful game plan of how to play the Hurricanes. And I'm wondering if Tampa Bay is going to use some of that, or we can kind of counter-defend like we did in Games 5 and 6 and pull it out and win. But Nashville, man, great fans, great crowd. Just my tribute to them. Before I get into this, I did want to look at it and say one thing. The goals that we scored in the series here. Aho had 5. Stahl had 4. McGinn had 3. Those were your 3 guys with the leading goals. Necas and Trocheck had 2. It was kind of quiet for Trocheck, but it was important beginning in the middle of the series. Teravainen had 1. Niederreiter had 1. He was a little quiet in the series as well. Svechnikov had 1. They tried to rattle the young guy a little bit. Fogle had his 1 early. Pesce had a very important goal in this series. And Hamilton very, very played the point well. The defense let Nashville down when Hamilton snuck in, got that sweet pass from Pesce, scored that goal. The assist, Hamilton, Pesce, Slavin, Necas all had 3. Aho 2, Svechnikov 2, Martin had 2. Hey, Lawrence had 2 assists in this series. I was looking for Geeky, and I guess Lawrence is surpassing him on this roster. Jasper Fast had a goal in this series. Assist in this series. Fogle had 1, Teravainen 1, McGinn had 1, Stahl had an assist, and Trocheck had an assist. Who didn't score for the Hurricanes, I thought was crucial. Bean, I looked for Bean, but being a young guy, he was needed on defense. I really looked for him to assert himself a little bit more on the offensive end in the next series. Hakanpää, I'm not really disappointed by Hakanpää not scoring. He's more of a defenseman, and that's where we need to keep him. In fact, he had a couple turnovers in this early on in this series that kind of cost us a little bit. Brady Shea, he's the one I really see in the defenseman scoring in the next series. He really fired his shot well, just didn't score. And is Geeky going to actually get to play in this series? He's one I look forward to if he gets to crack the roster and get in these games against Tampa. I also want to look at the series and give a shout out to Nashville. Forsberg played well for y'all. Johansson, Duchesne had that game-winning goal in Game 3. I could go on and on and on about the players you had. I was really impressed. But Yossi Soros, man, this guy, I think his goaltending was stronger than Ned Djokovic. I really do. In fact, I do not think that Nashville would have went 6 games if it wasn't for Soros. It might have been over in 4. He kept Nashville in this game. Look at game 3, man. There was almost 60 shots, if not 60 shots on that guy. And he stood on his head to keep them in. And finally, last but not least, Eric Holla, former Hurricane, played 1 year, started out well, kind of didn't get the favor of the coaching staff, some of the players. Fans, I think, were ready to get rid of him. He just didn't live up to the billing, and we traded in Florida. We got Trocheck, and I think it's been the better end of the deal. And of course, he ended up signing with Nashville in this off season. But he was a little bit of a villain against the Hurricanes, I guess, playing with them earlier that short period of time last year. So, guys, in saying all this, what do you think of this video? If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. If you want to see more content like this, when I put out another video with the upcoming series, a preview with Tampa Bay, which is going to start here in another couple of days. Of course, probably by the time you see the video, it's probably already going to have started. But let me know in the comments what you like about the video, what you didn't. Pound that like button. Hit the bell notification so you'll be more aware when the Carolina Guy Sports again. Carolina Sports Guy post again. And like I said, subscribe, guys. Subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. And we're going to see you next time on another edition of Carolina Sports Guy.